Sport fans, Beautifulbrian's Corner, the first ever competitive eating talk show, focusing in on the mainstream of competitive eating and the characters involved in the actual competitive eating field. I'm just so happy to be here. This is something I've been looking forward to for quite some time. As you know, I'm wearing my IFOC shirt, which is the International Federation of Competitive Eating, along with the coveted pickle robe, which covers the 2002 Carnegie Deli Pickle Eating Contest. I'm proud to own that robe, as well as the Beautifulbrian signature hat, which has been worn by many competitive eaters on my behalf in the past few months. This is, like I said, this is a great opportunity. I also have some pictures on the wall. As you can see, some of the great eaters in the IFOC, like Rich Lefevre, Crazy Legs Conti, Badlands Booker, Sonia Thomas, Ed Cookie Jarvis, Alan Shredder Goldstein, Brian Subich, Pat Philbin, and Don Moses Lerman. I will be adding a lot more as the episodes increase. What I want to discuss is the upcoming Barrack Burger Contest, which will feature some of the great eaters converging in Las Vegas, and this is going to be an awesome event. Last year's event was probably an event that no one will ever forget. Sonia Thomas, in 48 minutes, I mean, she devoured this entire 11-pound burger. I believe it was 11 pounds. It must have been like 8 pounds with about 3 pounds of toppings, and the bun itself was a couple of pounds, incredibly difficult to lift. And she put on a magnificent performance, and let's not take anything away from Ray the Bison Meduna, who was the judge of that event, and he did a magnificent job. He was instrumental in the weighing process, as well as making sure everybody got their water, the correct poundage, how everyone fared in that contest was basically due to the fact that Ray Meduna did an outstanding job as the judge of the event. I believe Ray Meduna will be attending this year, and we're really happy to hear that. There was a little conflict involving his participation, but Ray will be back in action, and we got to thank Sonia Thomas for this, because she basically put out a one-woman campaign on her website to get Ray back into the picture again. It was almost like Archie Moore giving an all-out campaign to get Rocky Marciano in the ring, and this was basically the same scenario, but of course this is a different sport. And Sonia did a beautiful job, as well as I myself had made some mention on my website to get Ray back in there as the judge for the event. And I think with Ray behind the, blowing the whistle for this, it's going to be an even better event than it was last year. Rich Lefevre is going to be back, and he put on a magnificent show last year. I mean, really, pushing Sonia to the hilt. And, many of the other eaters will be involved this year. We have Bob Shout, and of course, Tim Janis, Eater X, and they're going to really, they're going to go gung-ho in trying to take Sonia's title. So Sonia's going to be, she's going to be pressed. And of course, the phenom, Joey Chestnut, will be along as well. And, what can I say about this kid? He's just incredible. I mean, he's setting records left and right. He just drank a gallon of milk in 41 seconds to qualify for Wing Bowl. And he didn't come up for air. And I think that in itself is a Guinness Book of World Records elite. You cannot begin to fathom what kind of a stunt that was. I mean, to not come up for any air and down a gallon of milk in 41 seconds is totally mind-boggling, to say the least. So we'll be looking forward to seeing Joey there, Sonia, Bob Shout, like I said, Eater X, and it's going to be a great event. I'll be having full coverage on my website regarding the Barrack Burger Contest, and along with that, I'll probably have Ray Meduna as a guest on my show, and we will be discussing the contest itself and his involvement in it. So we'll be back in 2 seconds. Just stay tuned now. Before I get to my next guest, my phone guest, I want to go over the name Beautifulbrian. You're probably wondering how I got that name. This is on my hat, and I've used that name since I've been in competitive eating. George Shea, the founder and president of the IFOC, knows beauty when he sees one, and he gave me, he pronounced me with that name at the IFOC, the first ever ice cream eating contest, first ever IFOC contest, back in October of 2001. And that name has stuck with me ever since, and it's been my trademark and logo. But there are some people who think that I don't deserve that name, and they've made comments such as, and this has been on websites and blog sites, whatever. Sometimes I ignore it, but sometimes it gets to me. And they say the ironically named Beautifulbrian Psychic. Well, let me show you some pictures as to why I believe I should claim that name. These are my baby pictures. And this is me when I was 1 year old. Okay, and you're not going to find a better looking baby than that. As a matter of fact, I won a beauty contest, and this is documented. This is I'm not making any of this up. The beauty continued even up till age, I believe I was about 17 or 18 in this picture. Okay, so we're going to find a body like that. Mwah! And here, you give this one a kiss too. Mwah! So I think that after you've seen those pictures, it's safe to say that Kobayashi can, and by the way, that picture when I was 17 or whatever, it was 100 years ago, but what difference does it make? That was just before I started lifting weights yet. So Kobayashi, you could definitely eat your heart out. That at one time, I definitely did claim that name, and it did fit me, and it still fits me. I don't care what anyone says. So that ironically named, shove it up your culo. Okay? We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, okay? Ed Cookie Jarvis. Our next guest has achieved mountains of success. You'll be surprised at some of his eating feats. I mean, they're just absolutely exceptional. I want you to take a look at these film clips, and you judge for yourself.
15 minutes of fame, as the guy would say. You know, I'm eating my way to the top. If I have to eat to a few people, so be it. I'm going to start eating right now. Not so easy to eat when it's a little cold.
Age-old rivalry, the Badlands, the Bad Man against the Cookie Man. Ed Cookie Jarvis on 21, Eric Booker on 20.
Judges down, let the cameras see. Judges, get down. Sure, you gotta drop a little for a second. Judges down. Ladies and gentlemen, House Schimmel is here. The eyes of the world are here. BetWWTS.com says we are 7 minutes 52 seconds in.
But Jarvis! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put down your hot dog.
Judges down.
Put down your hot dog.
Judges down. Michael DeVito has just announced that the American record has fallen today to a man who won the 2001 Rookie of the Year contest, to a man who holds the ice cream title, the Battle of the Buffets title, a man from Wisconsin, New York, that you know as Cookie Jarvis. He did 30 and a half. Nathan's famous hot dogs and buns. He is in second place.
The new American record, 30 and 1/2. A jump of nearly 10 hot dogs and buns for this man, ladies and gentlemen. An enormous performance here today. His psychic told him this was his year, and indeed it has been. Ed Cookie Jarvis, an amazing performance.
Ladies.
All right, my next guest is a man that needs no introduction. He has a avalanche of titles. I'm going to read them off as I speak. Ice cream, French fries, cannoli, zeppoli, Easter Feaster, Chinese dumplings, palmini, buffalo wings, ribs, pasta, cold pizza, chicken fried steak, pickles, oh boy, Buddha wings, corned beef and cabbage, actually has 2 corned beef and cabbages, corn, chicken fingers, pizza, the buffalo buffet, and grapes. Pleasure to have on my show Mr. Ed Cookie Jarvis. Ed, how you doing?
Good morning, good morning.
Hey, great to hear from you. Ed, let me ask you something. In all those 19 titles that you have, or that you actually have 27 titles, the last that I checked.
Actually, it's more, but I think closer to 30.
30, okay. I'm probably off like by 1 or 2.
I was trying to get you to update your website.
Yeah, I was like, there's some kind of glitch in that.
That page is locked up, I heard.
Yeah, there's some kind of glitch in that site. I got to get that fixed up, so I'll make sure you have a few more extra than Sonya when I finish it up.
All right.
What do you what do you attribute, or what do you feel are your best titles out of all of them? I mean, which ones do you treasure the most?
I gotta say ice cream's gotta be one of my favorites.
Ice cream.
It was one of my first.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point, because when I first actually met you, it was in October of 2001, I noticed that, and this was at the point when the IFOC had their very first inaugural contest, so you were the first IFOC, actually you have the distinguished honor of having the first IFOC title. I mean, winning the first IFOC ice cream title.
Yep.
That was amazing. October 2001, and since then it's been like, it's been easy pickings, right? I mean, it's except for Sonya and maybe 1 or 2 others, you've really done the job.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cannolis was one of my favorite, of course, because, that was a title that was hard fought, and, I just beat Booker out the first time. And the second time was a little further distance. And I said, let me take a year off, but, my sugar was a little out of whack, and I said, let me try it one more time. And Booker wasn't in it. Actually, I was surprised he didn't enter.
Oh, yeah. That was the first time I met you in October 2001. I says, and I went over to Don Lerman and I says, who is this guy? He looks like he could eat. He says, oh, just wait, man. You haven't seen anything yet. I says, okay. And it's funny because a lot of the guys that were at that ice cream contest, I never met them before because they threw me out of the Glutton Bowl.
Right.
So it was like, it was a first time formal meeting, and I was like, sort of looking like the new kid on the block again.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun, and you had a big rooting section in that arena. So I was hoping that a newcomer would win, and he sure did. I remember going up against you in pickles. That's another thing I want to bring up. A lot of the contests that you've been in or have been involved with have been close calls all the way.
Yeah, quite a few of them.
I mean, the pickles was like, the moisture in my mouth was basically the amount that that I beat you by, and I know you never got over that loss, and you were dying to get me back in the ring again. Oh yeah. Oh, you mean in the hot dogs?
In the pickles.
In the pickles, right? Exactly. And
then the third year was close between. Getting close, we're pretty close.
Yeah, and then the contest we had going into with Sonya, the Hooters wings. I mean, you just like missed some of these by like a nose, man. You missed a $20,000 car by like a hairline of an inch. I mean, it's like you must have went home and freaking pulled all your hair out, man.
And then I lost to her in the wing bowl by like 1 week in overtime, double overtime.
Yeah, I mean, these had to sit with you for a long time. I think they're probably still affecting you now.
They don't bother me. It's, you know, I've learned to not let it bother me because otherwise it'll hold you back. What makes a great champ is somebody that can let bygones be bygones, and you win, some lose, some, you know, can't win them all, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
There's always newcomers like Joey Chestnut, and, you know, you got, you know, the guys like me and you got Don and, you know, Charles Hardy that are kind of stepping back a little bit, busy at work.
Now, let me ask you something. Are you afraid of Joey Chestnut? I mean, I don't think you're afraid of anyone, but I mean, does he intimidate you in any way?
Not really. In fact, I think he's more like a punk. He's kind of like when I first came on the circuit. I don't know if I was a punk, but a lot of people told me I was pompous. I said they call it confidence. But I'm glad to see him doing well, and he's a nice young kid.
Sometimes he appears fake.
He's skilled. Yeah. I think he'll groom very nicely.
Well, let's hope. I mean, I don't think, you know, the thing is, I consider you would you consider this the correct sort of would actually synonymous, the Babe Ruth of competitive eating? Because I don't think anyone holds as many titles or is able, actually the titles you have, you've consumed more food than some of the other big names.
Not only that, I think, you know, what makes me is a lot of people want me for the media, you know, or the, you know, the shows, one-liners, or, you know, just more of my character, you know, me walking in with the big jacket. I mean, people, when they first came out with the jacket, they were like, what the hell is that? You know,
Oh, yeah, that jacket, man, that's a classic.
What was your first impression when I brought out the jacket?
When I first saw that jacket, I says, whoa, hey, this guy did some heavy work in the last couple of weeks. I mean, this is quite impressive. I mean, this tailor must have had some freaking bill.
Good job.
And the beauty is you keep adding to the jacket.
The problem is I'm running out of room.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing they see. When I saw you on Vegas, by the way, let me mention that Ed was on the show Vegas with James Caan last year, and it was awesome. And the first thing that attracted them in the studio, or the people involved in, you know, producing the show, was the jacket.
Yeah, that was one of the big things, the jacket.
Now,
Jacket is like billboard advertisement. It's like saying, hey, look, I'm here. If you need me, call me.
fantastic. I want to bring up.
That's why actually, you know, it's kind of funny. I'm opening this new advertising company, and you know, people go, well, I said, look, my whole life has been advertising.
Oh yeah.
I'm in real estate. I spent half my life advertising myself.
Yeah. By the way, go on hugeeaters.com, and Ed has a whole section on you know, marketing and a lot of good stuff to buy. You know, I highly recommend the DNA. You know, testing. It's like a swab thing, and you know, you just send it back, and you give your medical history, and you know, you'll be set up with a bunch of vitamins. And that'll take care of the job. It's better than going out to GNC or Vitamin Shop and buying a whole bunch of vitamins that not sure exactly what is really needed for you. So this is, and then there's explain some, just go into detail about a little bit more of the items you have on Market America.
You basically shop on my Mall Without Walls, and that mall basically is like you can go on any superstore, you can print out a gift certificate for up to 1,250 stores. You can go on giftcertificate.com. Sometimes they have deals where a gift certificate for $50 might cost you 25. And you know, you watch it. It changes all the time. So there's a lot of good stuff on there. You gotta kind of, you know, search it out a little, so you can
excuse me, you can buy a house on your site.
Yeah, you can buy pretty much anything. There's not much you can't buy on my site.
And I love the videos. I mean, you have a whole bunch of real good stuff from the old days, some archive videos, and a whole lot of great pictures from Wing Bowl, and
Got about 90 pages of site.
well, some of those chicks, man, are awesome. I mean, you know, they got the tits hanging out, and it's like, whoa.
Like some of them.
I mean, we know half of them are not real, but listen, I'll take it any day. I mean, it's sometimes it's better than watching people eat spinach.
Hey, I don't like that spinach tape. I wish you could find that spinach tape in the archive. I
Yeah.
picked that up for a minute and something seconds.
Oh, they got some stuff on that archives. If I do a little searching, I'm going to try to look through. We have also Don Lerman eating, I believe it's 1.5 pounds of dog food, or maybe more. I want to bring up an interesting point. I want your viewpoint on this. And I was on the IFOC site a few weeks ago, and they had mentioned something on there regarding, and I'll give you my take on this right after I mention it. Regarding Ed Jarvis is not the Woodward leak source. Now, what were they trying to insinuate on that, Ed? I mean, were they trying to call you a yenta or something?
Way too much.
What was that?
I think they were trying to say that I call the office way too much.
Oh, okay. So they were basically trying to call you a yenta.
Basically.
Okay, well, let me just come into Ed's defense on that end, because if it were not for Ed Jarvis, there would not be any camaraderie in the IFOCE. I mean, this is my personal opinion. The guys wouldn't be I mean, he started the trend of the guys calling each other, you know, inviting us to this and that. And without that, I believe that there would be less friendship, and when the guys met each other at the contest, they really wouldn't know. I mean, they would know us by name, but it wouldn't be that camaraderie that we've been used to, you know, after the initial phone calls. So Ed, I have to congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Because Ed Crotchy, I mean, the great eater that he was basically, I mean, he had the personality of a wet mop.
I gotta say, I only met him a couple of times, and usually he was running from eating.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, great guy when he sees you, big handshake and everything, but as far as, you know, hey Ed, give me a call next week or whatever, forget about it. You'll be sitting at that phone for hours.
And you'll be waiting for a while.
So that we want to definitely thank you. You know, the camaraderie you've set a standard for this organization, which is second to none. What are your plans for the future as far as competitive eating? Are you going to be entering any? You know, a lot of the guys always want to know what's next for Ed Jarvis. There's like 3 or 4 eaters that have that like sort of Mike Tyson appeal, where like, what is he going to do next? One of them is definitely Don Lerman.
I kind of feel like the Howard Stearns of competitive eating sometimes.
Really? Why is that?
Because you know, Howard Stearns is like, people want to know what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
When they watch the show, they may hate him, but they'll watch the show because they're like, what are you going to do next?
Exactly. I mean, like some eaters, and you know, I know they're going to be watching this and listening to this, but some of them are kind of boring, because you actually, it's not that they're boring people, but you actually sort of have an idea of what they're going to do next. And it's a redundant situation all the time. Whereas like you or a Don Lerman or a Dale Boone, I mean, it's like, you know, we're sitting at the edge of our seats, like, what's next with these guys?
I always think one of the funniest things when people call you, they go, are you going to go do this contest? Like, do that one? And I'm like, yeah, I am actually. I'm going to go do this one. Oh, God. Or the expression on old age Janinski's face when you see him show up at the Duck Stadium and he's like, are you competing today? And I'm like, yeah, I'm competing today. He's like,
Oh yeah, right. All of a sudden the English comes out right away. I mean,
all of a sudden he's speaking English.
Yeah, I mean, before that it was like, you know, interpreters and all that. I mean, cut the bullshit, man. This guy speaks English. So this guy speaks English, I guess, more fluently than you know, some of your well-educated higher uppers, whatever. So the grapes was your last big victory. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, great.
And
Tough one.
I was there. That was an awesome. I was like, whoa! Well, you did like about, I think, 8 pounds worth of grapes.
8.95.
And then Bob Shaw was right on your heels. And then Booker was like, what had come to like a difference of 2 grapes?
5 grapes in it.
5 grapes.
I think the worst part was falling off the damn stage.
Oh, let me mention that was a classic. We don't have that on video, but Ed
Yeah,
Jarvis.
I wish I did because my back hasn't been the same.
Oh yeah, man. Well, first of all, we thought either you were attacked by AICE members,
It was paparazzi, actually.
paparazzi, or we thought you had a massive heart attack. I mean, the next thing I know, I turned my head, I'm eating 2 grapes, and then Ed Jarvis and Dave Baird disappear. And we're looking and we're saying, what the hell is going on? And then the next thing you know, boom, they're right off the stage.
Oh, it was bad.
It was something. It was something.
Lean over. Usually they keep the backdrop right to the stage. And
Yeah.
for whatever reason, there was a 2-foot gap. Oh, there I went.
Well, you went back all right, and I hope your back's doing well now.
Yeah, hopefully it'll feel a little better this month.
Now, let me mention one good aspect of that contest, along with your victory, was the fact that you met Bobby Bacala from The Sopranos.
Yeah, he was great. I really liked to hook up with him and do a little piece of The Sopranos.
Is it possible you could get on that, on that show for the last season? Or?
I'm hoping. I got a bunch of people plugging for me, so I'm hoping they pick me.
Oh, that's cool. We're definitely looking forward to that. Ed Cookie Jarvis, we want to thank you very much for taking your time out and being with us. You're a great friend, a great asset to competitive eating and the sport, and people don't realize how much you've contributed. And we want to thank you for everything you've done and what you're definitely going to do in the future. I don't think you're finished. I think you're going to keep going.
Yeah, I might take a little sabbatical, but I'm not out. This year is, probably going to be a busy year for me for work. So, I may skip some contests. I mean, I'm definitely skipping Nathan's and definitely skipping Crystal Burgers. Just, it takes like a week out of your system between getting to past Nathan's, going to a contest, and, coming back after you're like drained for days. You go, geez, I came in for it, I did great. I mean, you lost.
Yeah, I always said that Nathan's was the key to what competitive eating is all about. I mean, if you could do well in hot dogs, then that sets the stage for any other contest that you decide to enter. I mean, I think that truly will give the overall picture of what a competitive eater is if you are a great hot dog eater. Do you agree?
I agree. I think, Nathan's is one of the key players in, the big contests. And, I mean, it's obviously gotten bigger and bigger every year. But I think the key at the end of the day is to win as many contests as you can, not just one contest. Of course, if you win Nathan's, it's like winning 2 or 3 because it's just a big one. But I think they should also put a mandatory cap in where you can't win 2 or 3 just in Nathan's because it gets a little boring at this point. 5 years, some guy winning. Is it exciting? I don't know. Not really.
I mean, I'm fucking getting sick and tired of watching Kobayashi win the guy's a great eater. Let's not take anything away from that. But I mean, every single year, it's like freaking Michael Jordan and the Bulls winning, a championship. It's like almost like you know what's going to happen.
Remember there was a period of time where I think I go on the contests I won by when I won like the Palmettos and all those contests.
Right.
And everybody was like, another contest. I'm like, I was hard at work, and nobody was giving it to me. I was working for them.
Exactly.
And I wasn't winning them by a lot, but I was winning them by enough.
Oh, yeah, but that's the key. If you can't beat the champ, then stay home.
Exactly.
You're coming in there and doing your job.
That's why the logo on my shirt is, if we can't beat them, we'll eat them.
Oh, yeah, I like that one, man. But there was a point when there were a couple of contests at the end of 2003, and I think it was either George or Rick Shea. I said to you, hey, listen, man, stay home, sit this one out for a while.
Yeah, they told me, sit a couple out.
Oh, man, come
mad that I was winning.
You don't tell the champ to sit one out.
I want to see
You got to keep...
Sit one out, Sonya. Sit one out for the guys.
Yeah, well, maybe Sonya could sit a few out. But now it's at the point...
You just got distance. I'm here. When the contests are right here, it's like a prime place to go.
Exactly, right. Let's face it, as far as contest participation, I think you are in the lead as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I think there used to be, I think the best part is when you show up to contests like when I went to Arkansas, and I didn't know, I heard Pat was going last minute, but I had already booked my ticket, so I couldn't really help him out by not going.
Right.
It was crazy, like when he went to the other place, up Little Rock, I was like, I changed my ticket after I found out he was going.
Right. See, that's another thing I want to bring up about Ed is that, you know, he'll look out for some of the other eaters as far as if they're going, you know, to another qualifier and not to mess it up for them, so to speak. And, you know, not to throw in that killer instinct all the time. He does have a heart, okay? So a lot of you guys that think that, well, you know, oh, Jarvis is going to show up and fuck it up for me, man. And it's not going to happen all the time. I mean, you know, he looks out for his buddies. And you don't necessarily have to be his buddy. But
I remember when I first started eating, you told Don or somebody that you couldn't figure out why I wouldn't talk to you. Don't call me this guy.
that was definitely the pickles all the way. I mean, after that pickle contest, I think you shook my hand, but it was sort of a soft handshake, like I'm coming back for you, man.
Exactly.
And then the pickle guy, I kept calling the pickle guy up, asking him when's the next contest, and he says, "Oh, you better get your ass down here within the year." I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Well, we're gonna do another one in the United Pickle Factory. So instead of the regular 2-year contest at the Carnegie Deli, they were gonna move it up a bit. You were dying to get me in that ring and pounce my ass. You and Kevin." But it was fun.
Kevin, I don't know. I haven't seen the likes of Kevin really. His eating prowess wasn't what it was in the pickles. I guess the year that he won.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with Kevin. It's, you know, I guess he got caved in by all the competition. I thought it was a real stupid move by Kevin to get all the IFOC people in to try to compete for his title. But then it was probably the best move he ever made, because if he didn't make that move, I probably wouldn't have, you know, gotten a chance to compete for that that coveted title.
Yeah.
But
I'm actually the only 2-time pickle champ, I think.
Yeah, well, I got
2-time pizza, 2-time pickles.
Yeah.
What else? 3-time cannolis. 2-time corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, but you have probably a record that I don't think anyone's going to ever catch, as far as repeat champs as well. A lot of these guys can't repeat.
You know what the guy says? It's good to be the first anyway, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
And there'll always be new leaders, and new leaders are emerging because there's a lot more contests. So, like the fall business, there's a lot of new people with the others in different locations, which is good. It's okay. It don't matter, because you know what? It's guys like me and Don Leon and Kevin and you that basically put the street in to pave the way for the other eaters.
Well, thank you, Ed.
So,
Really appreciate that. It's like we were sort of the,
someone's got to be the pioneer.
we call us sort of the pioneers of the sport. Even though it's reached a level now where it's almost, you know, the 2 to 3 pound winners are not going to cut it any longer, but still you could always remember that these guys were old school.
The days of 12 hot dogs are over, my friend.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually had a dream the other night that I set a personal best of 19 hot dogs, and I took the story to the press, and then I woke up and I says, oh well, you know, I could dream, can I?
Dreaming is good.
Yeah. Ed, thanks a million for coming on the show. We're going to have you on in the future.
Anytime you want to give me a call.
Thanks. Anytime we could have you on, it's certainly an honor in my as far as my aspect is concerned. We want to thank you again, and we will be seeing you in the future then in various contests coming up locally or sometimes not
I'm
locally.
taking the first couple of contests off because I'm setting up my new business, and that's going to take a little more of my time than I anticipated, but still got to make the JLBs important.
Exactly. That's that always comes first. That's first priority. Ed Jarvis, everyone. We want to thank him for coming on the show, and we'll be back in just a few seconds. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Hey, that's all the time we have for right now.